3. We're starting off with a live look from our Mile High camera across downtown. A beautiful sunrise. A lot of sun means a lot of heat too. Summer is not over yet. It was just 2 years ago it was snowing around Labor Day. And not anytime soon, according to the forecast. In fact, some Denver schools are having to close early. And we have team coverage because of our high temperatures, and it's a difficult day for students to be able to focus in a hot classroom.
We'll get to Veronica Acosta with that story in a few minutes. First, let's get to Lisa and the records that could fall today.
Not only today, but tomorrow and on Thursday too. Yeah, we're already in the 70s in quite a few neighborhoods. Winds are coming in out of the southwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear skies. Lots of sunshine. The record high today is 97. We're calling for 98, which means as your kids are heading off to school this morning, it's going to be a beautiful start, but it will heat up fast. By the time they get off the bus this afternoon, we're talking low to mid 90s, hitting highs right around 98 between 4 and 5 in Denver. Triple digit heat near Platteville, north up toward Greeley. Fort Collins is going to be at right around 100, and we've got 70s and 80s. Even a few 90s in the mountains. Now, there is a slight chance for a few isolated gusty thunderstorms in the high country later today, but expecting to see some pretty dry conditions. We're going to continue our team coverage with Veronica Acosta now. And Veronica, honestly, the buildings at DPS are beautiful, some of these old buildings, but it comes with problems too when there's no AC.
That's the big problem, right? No air conditioning inside some of these schools. You see the kids running and walking into class here behind me this morning. Not too hot just yet, but it will be eventually later this afternoon. They just can't sit in those classrooms, properly concentrate when they just don't have that flow of air conditioners. So take a look at your screen. This is a list of 4 DPS schools that don't have AC. Therefore, they're going to be letting students out a little bit early. At that top of the list, the school where we are this morning, McAuliffe International, they're actually not only going to be letting students out early today, they're also going to be doing the same tomorrow and Thursday. And then Denison Montessori and Godsman Elementary students, they're going to be getting that early release just today. Skinner Middle School students, they get to leave the classroom earlier than usual just tomorrow. And just to give you all an idea of how hot some of these classrooms get, DPS officials actually told us that classrooms on the 3rd floor, those east-facing classrooms, they can reach more than 90 degrees. You guys, pretty hot in there. This goes to say, or without saying rather, but the district encouraging parents to make sure that you pack that nicely filled water bottle for your kids just in case they need it at any point today. It's going to be really hot, like Lisa's been saying. Now, we did reach out to the district earlier this morning. We asked about busing and its situation there, and they said that those buses are going to run on that early schedule, so you don't have to worry about your students staying past that early release too long. They'll be able to hop on a bus. And now we have Jason here with more on traffic.
Yeah, and a lot of those kids stay for after school, the base program before and after school care. So sometimes they're even stuck in there a little bit longer, unfortunately. Right now we do have some heavy stop and go traffic on I-70. A new problem on the westbound side right there at Colorado Boulevard. We've had problems on the eastbound side. From the camera back here at I-25, you can see some of that eastbound slowing all the way through the Coliseum. So it's just creeping along like this in both directions. So the drive time is 20 minutes from Federal on over to York, and it's about 20 minutes coming in from Pena Boulevard through this traffic jam after Quebec, getting past Colorado Boulevard. So it's one of our 2 big traffic jams of the morning. Still looking at a lot of stop and go traffic across downtown. 270 and that 225 drive is pretty busy for us, and we're seeing a lot of congestion up by Colorado Boulevard or Colfax just on that northbound side. So I'm starting to see a little bit more traffic. There might be something reported in there that I just haven't seen yet on the cameras. Half an hour on that south side and real busy on C470.
Well, a big day for the Denver Police Department. The new acting chief will take over. Mayor Hancock nominated Ron Thomas to lead the department. He'll serve on an interim basis after current chief Paul Pazin announced his retirement. Thomas is a Marine Corps veteran and has been with DPD for more than 30 years. He was the chief of the patrol division until now. Netherlands Board of Trustees will get an update tonight on recruitment for its police department, which is now down to 1 officer. And the town's last full-time officer, who is the chief, will leave at the end of this month. There are supposed to be 6 officers on staff in Netherlands. The Boulder County Sheriff's Office will continue to cover that area throughout this month.
The Adams County coroner is working to identify a man shot and killed by police on I-25 in Thornton yesterday. Hopefully you were not stuck in the hours of traffic backup, but police closed the interstate in both directions from 84th Avenue to Thornton Parkway after getting multiple calls about a man walking into traffic. In fact, drivers had to swerve to get around him. Investigators say the man pulled a weapon when officers tried to talk to him, so a police officer shot him. No one else was hurt, but the officers involved are on paid leave during the investigation. Our sister station KOAA in Colorado Springs is working to raise money to better protect law enforcement. Its anchor, Ira Cronin, will bike across Colorado, going from the Utah border to the Nebraska border in 5 days. The ride raises money to purchase rifle-rated vests for 10 law enforcement agencies, including CSPD, Woodland Park PD, and the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, which just had a deputy killed in a shooting. Andrew Peary was responding to a domestic incident in the town of Security last month, and emotions are still high from that night.
We were there before they finished working, trying to save his life. And I can just tell you that it takes away a piece of your soul.
And that loss is palpable, and it's real, and it's tragic, and it's heartbreaking, and there's no easy way through it.
So we will continue to follow Ira's progress across the state throughout the week. You can donate right now at shield616.org.
Attorneys for former President Trump and the Justice Department have until Friday to submit a list of candidates for the special master to look at the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. In a legal victory for Trump, a federal judge granted a third-party review of those documents. The Trump-appointed judge also temporarily halted the Justice Department's use of the records for investigative purposes until that special master completes their work.
Well, Thursday will mark 2 months to Election Day. President Biden spent Labor Day hitting the campaign trail, making stops at union events in both Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Races in those states could decide which party controls the Senate next year.
Here in Colorado, the race to watch is in the Senate between Democratic incumbent Michael Bennet and the Republican challenger Joe O'Dea.
Denver 7's Joe St. George is in Washington this morning with where the polls stand in this tight race.
Today's an unofficial holiday in American politics. The day after Labor Day and a big election year is always known as the beginning of the final stretch, and that's certainly true in Colorado with big governor's races and big Senate races. In particular, the Senate race is starting to attract national attention. The headline in the New York Times over the Labor Day weekend, a surprise Senate race rises out west. They're talking about Senator Michael Bennet, Republican nominee Joe O'Dea. So far, Michael Bennet, by all polls, has the advantage, but it's certainly looking like it could be a lot closer than a lot of pundits initially thought earlier this year. That being said, I have a number for you. $9.7 billion. That's how much is expected to be spent on political advertising across the country. We haven't seen a huge influx in cash as a result of the close Senate race in Colorado yet, but that could change as we hit the home stretch. For the moment, the House is still favored to flip this year to Republicans. That would impact what President Biden would be able to pass into law with 2 years left on his term. For the moment, the Senate is still favored to stay in the hands of the Democratic Party. That's because they think they can win a Senate seat in Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, flip those seats. That would give them flexibility to perhaps lose a Colorado election and still maintain control of the U.S. Senate. But look for a lot of focus on Colorado's Senate race in the coming days and weeks. The home stretch starts today. On Capitol Hill in Washington, I'm Joe St. George, Denver 7.
A scam promising cheap concert tickets is now going around, how it preys on people wanting to help our troops. Plus, a local nurse is back from Ukraine, the message she's bringing from the front lines, and why Russell Wilson's record points towards a Broncos win for the season opener.